Very good morning, children. In the lesson respiration, we completed the pathway of respiration, how it is happening till gaseous exchange, where it is happening in alveoli to capillaries. That we completed, and composition of inhaled and exhaled air and differences also we learnt. So today we learn about the transport of gases. Transport of gases. You know that air is said to be a mixture of gases, and different gases are present in different volumes, like 21% oxygen is there, and 0.03% carbon dioxide is there, and 78% of nitrogen is there. That you know it very well. So the air whatever we are breathing in is entering into the body and it reaches the lungs. So that you know it very well. So the components of air are the gases of air which are reach the lungs. They have the capacity to combine with the or to mix with the blood. So in the blood what is happening and how that gases are going to be transported, that is happening because of respiratory pigment. Okay, so you know that respiratory pigment is present in the blood, which we call it as hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin is a protein where it is present in RBC. So RBC of blood, if we observe in our body, hemoglobin is present, which is a protein, and it contains protein, that is globin is a protein. Hem means iron. Iron. Is it clear to you? Hem is a iron and globin is a protein. So altogether this hemoglobin is a protein which is acting as a respiratory pigment in the blood, children. So now here different gases which are present in the air, when they are entering into the body, they are going to combine with the hemoglobin. Even other substances which entered the respiratory system, they are also be present in the blood, and then they are going to be transported to the different parts via blood only. Is it clear to you? Then the blood is going to transport the gases, whatever the gas whichever is going to enter into our body in inhalation. But here how that is happening means that is because of hemoglobin. So you know that the oxygen whichever is present in the air, so 21% as it is going to be combining with that hemoglobin, and as just now I said, which is said to be a protein present in the RBC of blood, and it is having iron also. One molecule of iron is present. So in first lesson you learned the differences between chlorophyll and hemoglobin. So chlorophyll and hemoglobin more or less their structure wise if we see same looking like, but one difference is there. What is that? Hemoglobin is a pigment and chlorophyll is also a pigment. Okay, so that hemoglobin is present in blood, RBC, whereas chlorophyll is present in the chloroplast of leaves. Then hemoglobin contains iron, whereas chlorophyll contains magnesium. Okay, and you know the function, chlorophyll takes part in photosynthesis, and hemoglobin is carrying oxygen as well as carbon dioxide, respiratory pigment. So like that here differences also you learn between the hemoglobin and chlorophyll. So now here the gases are having some limits, children, to combine with that hemoglobin, whereas you know that oxygen, as it is present 21% in the atmosphere, when it entered into the body, it combines with the hemoglobin and forms as oxyhemoglobin. oxyhemoglobin. And you know that which gas is needed for respiration means that is oxygen. No doubt in that. So other gases even if they enter, that we will discuss later. So now here oxygen is going to be combining with the hemoglobin. So which forms the oxyhemoglobin, and that oxyhemoglobin is carried to different parts of the body. So oxyhemoglobin that is reached. So what is going to happen? Oxygen when it is combined with hemoglobin, it formed oxyhemoglobin. So as it is, if it is there, then there is no, the cells cannot make use of it. So that hemoglobin whichever as formed because of the combination, the combining of oxygen which formed as oxyhemoglobin. So when it reaches the tissues, it is going to be, that reverse process is also going to happen. What is that reverse process happening? That oxyhemoglobin whichever is formed, it is dividing into oxygen as well as hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. Is it clear to you? So that oxygen whichever is separated from oxyhemoglobin is further used up by the cells for the release of energy, and the hemoglobin whichever is there, you know what it is going to do. So the cells which are going to produce the other gases during the process of respiration, for example carbon dioxide. So that carbon dioxide is usually transported in the form of bicarbonate whichever is present in plasma, but some amount of carbon dioxide is going to be combining with hemoglobin which forms as carboxyhemoglobin, and during the process of respiration what is happening, that is a gaseous exchange when it is happening between the capillaries to the cells. When it is happening, that carbon dioxide is produced from the cells and water vapor also produced from the cells, and the glucose is getting oxidized because of oxygen which is carried because of hemoglobin, and the energy, heat energy is released. So that heat energy whichever is released is used up by the cells which are present in our body. Is it clear to children? So the carbon dioxide and water vapor are, so now oxyhemoglobin where it is formed? It is formed in the lungs. Okay. Reverse where it is happening? In the tissues. So that we will let us observe with the equation. Hemoglobin plus oxygen, it is combining, and HbO2 4 times. So this oxyhemoglobin where it is formed? In the lungs. In the lungs. You know that hemoglobin is a protein, is a respiratory pigment, it combines with oxygen. So 21% of oxygen which entered into the body through the respiratory system when it reached the blood. So that that hemoglobin is going to be combining with that oxygen which forms the oxyhemoglobin. So that oxyhemoglobin whichever is formed, again it has to be transported, no? Where it has to be transported? To the tissues. So tissues, they contain the cells. So in tissues, are they going to make use of this oxyhemoglobin as it is? No children. So reverse has to be carried out, means that oxyhemoglobin which has formed, it has to be separated into hemoglobin as well as oxygen. Then only that oxygen is going to help in making use or to continue the further steps. So now Hb, that oxyhemoglobin. So what is going to happen here? Hb plus 4O2. So this breakdown is happening in the tissues. In the tissues. So this is carried through the blood. Via blood, it is carried to the cells. So in the cells what is happening? The oxyhemoglobin is dividing or leaving the oxygen and hemoglobin. So that oxygen whichever is left here is going to be used up by the tissues. Again this hemoglobin is carrying its actions. Is it clear to children? Then now we'll come to the next step, that is gaseous exchange, how it is happening in capillaries to the cells and get back. So now in the cells, what is happening? What kind of environment we are going to observe? You know that tissues means cells only. So in the cells, group of cells. So in the cells, the different activities are going to be, cellular activities are going to be carried out, so that the percentage of oxygen will be very less, no children. So as they are continuously working, the cellular activities as they are going to be carried out because of cells, what will happen? The availability of oxygen will be very less there. So 1/3 of oxygen that oxygen is continuously used, and it may be only 1/3 of oxygen whichever is present in the lungs. Okay, have you followed? So in the lungs more amount of oxygen will be present, whereas in the cells it is very less amount of oxygen is present, because the cellular activities are going to be carried out because of this cells only. Is it clear to you? So that oxygen whichever is released is used up by the cells for breaking down of the glucose molecule whichever is supplied to the cells, again through the blood only. So oxidation of glucose is going to be carried in the cells. So in the process what is going to happen? As that cells are continuously working, so during that process the carbon dioxide and water vapor are produced, carbon dioxide and water vapor are released. These carbon dioxide and water vapor are going to be sent out of the same respiratory parts. Is it clear to children? Have you followed? So the gases transport is happening between the blood and the lungs, or the respiratory system and the blood. So then the second stage, what is happening in tissues, the exchange is going to happen. So tissues, they are again richly supplied with tissues which are richly supplied with capillaries like alveoli, from alveoli, or alveoli which are richly supplied with blood vessels. From that alveoli, the oxygenated blood is going to be supplied to the cells. I hope you understood. Is it clear to children? So like that here, the oxygen molecule enters into the cells, and that oxygen which entered into the cells because of hemoglobin, okay, that will help in breakdown of glucose molecule. So when the glucose molecule is a breakdown, what will happen? Heat energy is released. That heat energy is made available to the cells to perform different functions. Now important point you have to remember here, what is going to happen to that glucose molecule, how it is going to be just helping in releasing of energy. Okay, in two ways that glucose molecule is releasing energy. So you know that it depends upon the availability of oxygen in the cells. I hope you understood. Okay, you know that the amount of oxygen present in the cells of our tissues is very low. Why? Because the tissues are continuously, the cells are taking part in the cellular activities. Is it clear to you? Because of that, what will happen? The availability of oxygen is less. That is the reason here continuously the exchange of gases is happening through blood to the cells. So oxygen supply is continuously happening to the cells to perform cellular activities. Is it clear to children? Then, so now here cellular activities means what here? This transport of gases, you understood, I think. So now we will learn about the cellular activities. What does it mean? So that we have to learn now. So cellular activities means what? The living organisms as they are performing different types of activities from birth to death. Cells are also performing same activities. So like digestion or excretion or filtration or transporting materials or reproduction, all these activities are going to happen because of cells. So which we call them as cellular activities. Is it clear to you? So that cellular activities are happening because of a very important process. What is that? Where the energy is released. So in which process energy is released? In the respiration. Okay. So respiration is the only process where energy is released. So that energy releasing, how it is happening? Because of cells. Have you followed? So that's why that is called as the breakdown of glucose in release of carbon dioxide and water vapor along with heat energy is because of cells. That's why that this process of respiration is called a cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. So what do you mean by respiration? The process of breathing in air and breathing out air is called respiration. Or what do you mean by respiration? Means you are going to tell that oxidation of glucose, ultimately glucose only, that energy rich molecule, it is broken down to carbon dioxide, water along with heat energy. So the chemical bonding is present, strong bonding is there between carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms. So unless they are broken down, the heat energy is not released. Have you followed? So that heat energy in which process it is released? It is released in the respiration process. Where? In the cells. So that's why it is called as a cellular respiration. Have you followed? So that breaking down of glucose or oxidation of glucose in release of heat energy along with carbon dioxide and water vapor. You know that carbon dioxide and water vapor, from where they are produced means from the cells only. So the cells are also going to respire. Is it not? So during that process, the excess amount of carbon dioxide and water vapor which are produced in the cells, they are going to be sent out. That is the reason exhaled air volume of carbon dioxide is more. Like that you learned. So whereas in exhaled air volume of oxygen is less. Why? The oxygen is utilized by the cells. Availability of oxygen. Okay. So that breakdown of glucose in the living system may be prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells. You got the point? So prokaryotic cells examples bacteria. Eukaryotic cells means all the living organisms where the cells are having nucleus. Is it clear? So the breakdown of glucose is going to happen in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. That breakdown of glucose is happening because of availability of oxygen. Availability of oxygen is very important for breaking down of glucose in release of what is that? Energy, heat energy. Have you followed? So now the breakdown of glucose is going to happen because of oxygen in two ways. One is said to be in the absence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen. Have you followed? Or in the presence of oxygen. In the presence of oxygen. So that glucose, when it is breaking down in the absence of oxygen, in release of heat energy, then it is called anaerobic respiration. Very important. Anaerobic respiration. Have you followed? The glucose is going to be broken down Glucose is also present in the blood now. In the first lesson, after digestion, the glucose molecule is released into the blood. Amino acids are present in the blood, or fatty acids are present in the blood, like that you learnt or not. So they are going to be amino acids and fatty acids are converted to glucose, and that glucose alone is going to help in releasing energy. Have you followed? So that breaking down of glucose, how it is happening? One is said to be in the absence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen, when glucose is broken down to release heat energy along with carbon dioxide, then it is called anaerobic respiration. In the presence of oxygen, when the glucose is going to be completely broken down to carbon dioxide and water along with the release of heat energy, then it is called aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. So that's why here for breakdown of glucose molecule, chemical bonding where it is there between carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms present in the glucose molecule, unless that chemical bonding is broken down with the help of oxygen, then only the energy is released. But breaking down of glucose is happening sometimes in the absence of oxygen also. In which organisms? In prokaryotic organisms and in some of the cells also of our body. Okay, sometimes. So in the absence of oxygen, that is called anaerobic respiration. In presence of oxygen, then it is called aerobic respiration. Have you followed? So cellular respiration means, I hope you understood. So to perform all the cellular activities, there are so many steps in breaking down of glucose to release carbon dioxide, water and along with heat energy. Okay. So as it is carried by the cells, so it is called a cellular respiration. So that breaking down of glucose in the cells is happening in two ways. That is in the absence of oxygen and in the presence of oxygen. Absence of oxygen, anaerobic respiration. In presence of oxygen, aerobic respiration. So here that energy is released, heat energy is released. From where that heat energy is released means that is because of ATP. Do you remember this one? ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So where that adenosine triphosphate is present or stored, it is present in a cell organelle called mitochondria. Mitochondria. So in the mitochondria, the energy is stored in the form of ATP, which is said to be that chemical energy. Okay. So that chemical energy is breaking down and forming heat energy in the anaerobic respiration or in the aerobic respiration, in release of heat energy. Okay. So that process, when it is happening, there are so many steps how that breaking down of glucose is going to happen and what are the different steps involved, like glycolysis, Krebs cycle, all that we are going to learn in this further class only. Is it clear to you? And later we will discuss. Now you have to understand the differences between anaerobic and aerobic respirations. Very, very important. So that I will give you later. So now here you know that ATP energy, chemical energy, whichever is stored in mitochondria, is helping in releasing of heat energy. I hope you understood. Okay. So that is the reason this mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse of the cell. Okay. And here that powerhouse of the cell, each ATP molecule is going to produce 7,200 calories of energy. 7,200 calories of energy is produced. One ATP molecule, when it is broken down, during that cellular respiration, 7200 calories of energy is released, and that energy is present or stored in the phosphates. So here ATP, ATP, P means here P like that. So terminal phosphate. So if that is helping in releasing energy, what will happen? This tri will become di. ADP. Have you followed? But the cell, it has to continue its life. That ATP must be present as it is only. So again it is going to take a phosphate molecule, inorganic phosphate, and it will be back to ATP. ATP is going to be broken down to release energy. That energy is stored in inorganic phosphate, terminal inorganic phosphate. So then ATP, when it is one phosphate is lost, it is going to be changed to ADP. But cell has to continue. Again that ADP will be back to ATP by acquiring inorganic phosphate. Okay. So that oxidative phosphorylation. So that all we will discuss later. So now here each ATP molecule is going to give rise to 7200 calories of energy, and that energy is stored in the phosphates of adenosine triphosphate, which is, so that just now you learned that how that ATP is helping in releasing of heat energy. What is happening to ATP in presence of oxygen, or in absence of oxygen, in presence of oxygen, both. Okay, and whatever it may be, they that breakdown of that glucose present in ATP is happening in a stepwise manner. That is just now I said glycolysis, Krebs cycle, or aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration. All these we will learn later. So now let us learn the differences between anaerobic and aerobic respiration. Is it clear to you? So this is a 2 marks question, aerobic and anaerobic respiration, where they are going to be happening. All that we will learn in the tabular form. Now we are going to learn about the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So in cellular activities or cellular respiration, what you learnt means breakdown of chemical bonding of that ATP molecule, whichever is stored in mitochondria, in release of carbon dioxide, water along with heat energy, is called cellular respiration. Like that you learned. So mitochondria, it takes part in cellular respiration, like that you learned in 9th class also. Is it not? So the glucose molecule, whichever is there, or the chemical bonding whichever is present in the form of inorganic phosphate in ATP, which helps in release of energy, is happening in 2 ways. One is said to be in aerobic respiration, and other one is anaerobic respiration. What does it mean? Breakdown of glucose when it takes place in presence of oxygen. In presence of oxygen, it is called aerobic respiration. Breakdown of glucose is again taking place in the absence of oxygen. Absence of oxygen. Then it is called anaerobic respiration. Then next step. So here in presence of oxygen, the glucose is going to be broken down into what? Complete breakdown of glucose is going to happen here. So that carbon dioxide and water are formed. Carbon dioxide and water are formed because heat energy is released. Remaining that broken down of glucose, when it is taking place, heat energy is produced and carbon dioxide and water are produced. So that carbon dioxide and water, they are released into the atmosphere again. So complete oxidation it is taking place. So So that complete oxidation of glucose is happening, so carbon dioxide and water are formed. Whereas here in anaerobic respiration, the glucose is not completely dividing, so that here what we can see, carbon dioxide, ethanol or lactic acid. Ethanol or lactic acid are formed. So here in fermentation you will be observing conversion of glucose solution into alcohol, okay, by the action of some microorganisms, or sometimes lactic acid is also formed there. So now if we observe here, what are the energy produced. So as complete oxidation is going to be happening in aerobic respiration, high amount of energy is produced. As here in the absence it is taking place and incomplete oxidation of glucose is going to happen, so less amount of energy is produced. Less amount of energy is produced. Is it clear to you? Then next point is where do we observe this aerobic respiration? So this aerobic respiration is seen in almost all multicellular organisms. Seen in all multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms. Whereas here it is seen in mostly unicellular organisms. Seen mostly in unicellular organisms. Like bacteria, fungi, yeast, etc. Is it clear to children? But in our body also sometimes anaerobic respiration is going to happen. Then, so here as that complete oxidation, breaking down of glucose is happening. So in what way that complete breaking down of glucose is going to happen? Two steps are there. So what are those two steps means? One is said to be glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Glycolysis and Krebs cycle. So we are going to learn this tomorrow. So glycolysis and Krebs cycle are two stages for breakdown of glucose in release of heat energy along with carbon dioxide and water. Whereas here what is happening means glycolysis and fermentation. Glycolysis and fermentation are two stages. So here fifth step, glycolysis and Krebs cycle are the two stages happening in aerobic respiration. So glycolysis means what? Breakdown of glucose into two molecules of pyruvic acid. About that again we will learn in tomorrow's class. So Krebs cycle. So what is going to happen to that pyruvic acid in release of carbon dioxide and water along with heat energy? So two stages are there in aerobic respiration. And here when glucose molecule is going to be broken down with the help of oxygen, that is oxidation of glucose when it is going to be taking place. Already we learned high amount of energy is released, So here 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water along with 686 kilocalories of energy is released. So here in anaerobic respiration, glycolysis and fermentation are the two stages. Why it is called as fermentation? You have some idea about fermentation. What is fermentation? So fermentation is said to be a type of respiration. What kind of respiration? It is anaerobic respiration. So in fermentation process, ethanol or lactic acid is formed. So in the previous classes, when sugar solution is kept as it is, when it is covered, next day if we observe, that sugar solution is going to be converted to alcohol, some smell we are observing. So what is that means? That is because of release of ethanol. Okay. So here glycolysis and fermentation are the two stages in anaerobic respiration, and because it is not provided with oxygen or oxygen is not there, but the glucose is going to be broken down into ethanol or lactic acid. Here ethanol formula 2C2H5OH plus 2CO2 plus 56 kilocalories of energy is released. Less amount of energy in anaerobic respiration. 686 kilocalories of energy, that is a high amount of energy in aerobic respiration released. Is it clear? So tomorrow we will discuss about the glycolysis, Krebs cycle, all that tomorrow. Thank you.